How's it going, y'all? This is Naeem Spivey, and you're listening to Respect the View podcast, where I'll be discussing life experiences, hardships, and how to break generational curses to how to build generational wealth. I decided to use my podcast as like my personal journal, in a sense, of all my thoughts and things that I wouldn't really want to tell people. Get myself out there and show people who I am, or let them listen to who I am, I guess. So, hope you enjoy. Thanks. I'm recording this podcast with my dog watching. Ghetto Angels, if you didn't know. That was the reference. If you don't know that song, go check it out. What's going on, y'all? This is Respect the View podcast, and I am your host, Naeem Spivey. This is episode 1. We are going to title it The Beginning. I guess we just going to jump right in. My earliest childhood memories. I actually remember going to see 2 individuals in prison and in jail. As my earliest memories, thought they would be something completely different. Yeah, I definitely was an independent soul. As far as I was told, my little backstory as a child, my mom pretty much had me kind of young, but she was a grinder, so she was on the bus with me early in the morning, dropping me off to daycare, going to school or going to work. And I don't really remember a lot of those years. Like, I might remember, now that I'm laughing about it, one of my earliest memories was CDC. It was the Child Development Program at Martin Luther King Park. I don't know how I remember this, but I used to eat this young lady in the playground area. I don't know. I'm still trying to process that one. But we stayed on the same block. If I'm not mistaken, her grandfather knew my grandmother. So we actually had like a small little connection like that. We don't talk anymore. That was just a little childhood memory. I mean, I was the only child for an extremely long time until I was, well, not a long time, until I was probably, I think, 11. But I did deal with issues with bullying. Just people wanting to bug me. And then me being myself having to retaliate, or teachers disrespecting me. I hated when teachers put their hands on me or grab me. But it's like, so I was getting an ass whooping almost every day. I was getting my butt whooped by my grandma. Then I was going home and getting my ass whooped by my mom. Then I was getting beat over the head by my mom's boyfriend. I was just like, so when I got in trouble, I just didn't go home. It was sometimes where I just ditched going home, and they would have to come look for me on the blocks, because I was at the friend's house acting like I didn't get in trouble, ripped up my pink slip. Yeah, I wasn't going home. Like, I'm gonna get my butt whooped anyway. So just avoided that whole scenario and just didn't go home. But I was cool with it. I mean, honestly, I still turned out okay. Kind of grew out of it. Very awkward childhood. I wanted to go into the connection between my father and his grandkid. Like I was saying, I don't have a lot of like good memories, kind of like how my siblings do, or my younger siblings, I should say, because me and my older siblings kind of all went through the same kind of issues as a kid. But like my children, I didn't have all of the experiences that I have with Serafina, with Nicole. So sometimes it's kind of hard for me to speak on that. Some situations that were going on that prevented me from doing so that I don't want to talk about on this episode, on the first one. We're going to dig deeper into that later. We're going to leave it very light. My daughter, Serafina, born January 19th. She was born, I believe, close to the same day that my grandmother on my father's side was laid to rest. She had passed maybe like a week prior. And I know that left like a really deep connection with my father and my child. And for him, he wanted to be closer to his grandkids, definitely having that little close connection with his mom and the baby. He didn't want to miss any more time. Like I said, we're going to leave it light. My mother and my father did not know about my firstborn until, she was 5. They didn't know about her. So, yeah, that means my father was deprived, neglected of grandfather duties for a long time, as he would say. So yeah, that kind of left a slight negative impact when it comes to Serafina. I actually was in Kansas when Serafina was born. So we necessarily weren't even out here. So everything was a phone call. Like that day it was dreadful. It was horrible. I was driving in the snow trying to get back to the house so we could drive to the hospital because her water had broke inside the tub. Or like it was like either she was in the tub or she was on the floor, like just standing there, Naeem, and I'm just like, bruh. What happened? Like, my thing is, that's the crazy part. I was in training, so my phone was getting blown up and I couldn't even touch my phone. So after like 20 minutes, I checked my phone. I see I got like 16 missed calls and 24 text messages. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? Yeah, Sarah was on the way. But pretty much my father feels like it was a deep connection. So for those people that, shout out to those people that have, grandparents or grandkids with close to the same birthday as you. I don't know if that makes your connection stronger or if that makes you value the time that you spend with them a little bit more. I'm not really sure, but that's pretty much how my father made it seem. I'm not saying that there's not a connection. I just, I be trying to understand the whole gist of it. Shout out to the old man. And I guess it's interesting the way that I'm going about this because that's an awkward way to hear about my kids. So I guess I kind of got to backtrack because this is the beginning. So Sarah, let's start off with Nicole. Nicole was born, that's Nicole with the H, by the way. Nichole. And she'll let you know if you misspell it. But she was born in March. Same month as, honestly, my daughter's birthday fell on the same day that my grandmother on my mom's side, her husband passed. So my grandfather. It's been about 3 years. Rest in peace. So what's good, people? It's Jay Spivey. So if you haven't heard, there's this amazing app, and it's the easiest way for you to make your podcast, and it's free. All right, so let me explain. It has all the creative tools that allow you to edit your podcast the right way, right from your phone or your computer. And it allows you to distribute your podcast to all the major platforms like Apple and Spotify and many, many more. All right. You can literally make money with little to no listeners. Like, how dope is that? All you got to do is go to anchor.fm to get started. Go check it out. The kind of household that I was raised in, it was definitely quiet. I never really voiced my opinion too often. When it came to my studies, it's a completely different thing than what it is now. And if pretty much trying to stay organized with my episodes, but that's what I'm like. I'm not just a father. I'm a mentor. I'm a big brother. And there's a lot of stuff that I seen growing up. That I wasn't about to let my brother go through it. I wasn't about to let my brother fall into the same traps that I seen that I had to avoid. Thank God that I was able to avoid it because I was smart enough to avoid them. I mean, that's what a big brother does. So I actually took my big brother role seriously. I just tried to make sure that I covered him like God told me to. Pretty much what I felt was expected of me. So my household, it was different than what it is now. It was more chaotic. It was, chaos for a kid. Try to make sure that my child doesn't go through those things. But I know she's had her battles. I know she's had her battles. Kids these days, they don't even get butt whoopings, if you're being honest. We got to talk to them more because apparently butt whoopings don't work because we didn't turn out good enough. Teach his own. Everybody learn their own way, right? What kind of household did you grow up in? Was it a single family household? Did you have both parents? Did you have a stepmom or a stepdad? Even the question, do you even believe in step parents? Because I don't like the whole step name thing. If love is genuine, honestly. People know, you know what I mean? I feel like you don't necessarily have to say it. Like when you put step in everything, you just make it sound all ugly. And I feel like when you put step into it too, it kind of throws for me, that's what I'm saying, in my life, it throws like a little salt in my mouth. Like I want to throw up. Just because all the little past issues that happened with me, and my mom wasn't even married. Shout out to the women that don't have men around their kids until after they know what that man is like. And even if they know what he like, shout out to the ones that see negative in a man and be like, you don't need to be around my kids. Shout out to them too. But it was quite interesting to see how things really played out with me because I'm a Virgo. I can kind of say that I can adapt to a lot of different situations and make myself comfortable and not feel like there's a threat around me. But I've always been able to do that and kind of maneuver in a smart sense. But that doesn't mean a child should have to. You know what I mean? It definitely doesn't mean a child should have to. So right now I'm focusing on creating a space for my children to be able to thrive physically, mentally, spiritually, and without restrictions. You know what I mean? Be able to ask questions, be able to learn stuff. I want my children to be open to other cultures, speak different languages, be bilingual. I'm even learning Spanish right now. And I didn't necessarily have my dad growing up. But the question would be, what is one thing that you are teaching your kids that your father did not teach you? And it took me a minute. That's what I was sitting and I was thinking about the question. My kids are still young. I'm still teaching them. I didn't technically get my dad back until I was about 15 years old. And at that point, I'm not saying I was grown, but like I said, it was a lot of stuff going on in my household. So I was just maneuvering how I knew how to stay alive in a sense. So when my father came back and he was talking to me, it wasn't a lot that I was talking to him about. And yeah, that was our relationship for a very long time. I will say it's a little bit better now, but definitely at that time it was kind of rocky. And I want to discuss one debatable topic in my podcast each show. That question that I just asked, that was my Black Father Facebook group that I'm in. We ask a lot of good questions and it makes me think, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to get their perspectives out there. So, comment, like, subscribe. All my social media handles are at Respect the View. If you want to follow, comment, like, I'll be posting content pretty soon for you guys and gals to respond to. My one question that I wanted to discuss to get some debates going is, if you are in a relationship, is it wrong of you to want to be single to work on yourself if you feel like you and your partner do not connect the best at the time or work the best at the time? I mean, if you want to make that the same thing, go ahead. But yeah. So again, if you are in a relationship, do you feel like it is wrong to want to break up, to want to be single, to work on yourself? You just listened to the first episode of Respect the View podcast. At the moment, my website is not finished yet, but I will leave a link in the show notes. My Instagram, my Facebook, Twitter, it's all at Respect the View. Check that out. I will be posting commentary on there for my people to comment on, so we can keep the conversation going. And thank you for your time. Stay blessed. Bye.